thank you for coming along. You're all very welcome at this meeting of the Planning Committee. My name is Councillor James Husband. I'm the chairman of the committee. To my right, I'm joined by fellow councillors, and we'll be making the decision on the case in front of us this evening. To my left, I'm joined by officers who will be presenting the report and helping us by answering questions. And the officer team this evening is led by Amanda Reid, the Director of Planning, lady sitting on my immediate left. So if we can start, are there any apologies for absence?
Thank you, Chairman. We have apologies for absence this evening from Councillor Adurian.
Okay, that's noted. Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest? There are none. Are there any other declarations? No, there are none. Very good. We have no minutes of previous meetings that we need to consider. So in that case, I think we can move immediately to consider the principal matter in hand this evening, which is the application at the former Sheraton Hotel Park Tower in Knightsbridge. So Jessica Robinson, Jessica, you're going to introduce this, aren't you? So please, when you're ready, do go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. So before members this evening is an application for major development at Sherrington Park Tower, 101 Knightsbridge. The application is for the redevelopment of the existing building, which is a hotel use primarily with kind of Class E uses and sui generis uses. The existing podium level, ground level and first floors will be demolished, along with floors 16 and 17 and the plant story at 18th floor. And the building will be redeveloped through a new podium first and ground floor level, and through the provision of the 16th and 17th floor being rebuilt and additional 18th to 21st floors. These will primarily provide further hotel accommodation and the accommodation of Class C3 residential units. The application site is located to the south of Hyde Park and north of Lowndes Square, and it's just to the east of Knightsbridge Station. And the site itself sits between William Street, Knightsbridge, Savile Street and Lowndes Square. Here are some existing photographs of the site. You can see the kind of hotel building above and then the podium level and first floors below, with the Class E uses fronting mainly onto Knightsbridge and the side streets. So this is the existing ground floor and first floor plans. You can see the two large Class E units and then the hotel functions, kind of lobby and core through the centre of the building, extending up. This is an existing typical floor plan. You can see the hotel rooms are arranged around the outside of the building, with the central core providing kind of lift and stair access and a central corridor off of the lifts there. These are the existing elevations. You can quite clearly see here the kind of ad hoc nature of the existing podium level, the kind of exposed structure of the base of the building, the main hotel element, and then quite a lot of existing plant equipment at the top of the building. And again, the existing elevations from Savile Street and Lowndes Square. These are the proposed elevations, so William Street and Knightsbridge. Here you can quite clearly see the kind of rationalisation of the podium level at the ground and first floor levels as well. You can see the proposed residential entrances as well located on these elevations. You can also see the new additional stories, including the kind of replaced 16th and 17th story, and then the rationalised kind of plant area at the top of the building. And again, the proposed elevations from Seville Street and Lowndes Square, or Land Street, you can see quite clearly here the kind of podium level, which is going to have some additional kind of Class E uses and some additional planting and landscaping. So this is the proposed ground floor plan. And the proposed first and mezzanine plans. And then the proposed residential apartments, which are to be located 3 stories 18 to 21. You can see here that the floor plan is quite deep, and the only access to daylight is from the windows that are on the outside of the building, which means they're quite deep floor plates. And this has kind of gone towards the use of these floors being for kind of larger residential units on the site. This is a useful diagram to kind of explain what is to be retained and what are the new build elements of the scheme. You can quite clearly see here the kind of podium level to be demolished, the central core, and then those stories to be removed and additional stories on top. These are the landscaping plans for the ground first and podium level. You can see there's quite an enhancement of greening across the site, including new street trees and a lot of planting to the podium level, including green roofs. These are some townscape views. So on the left of the screen is existing, and on the right is proposed with a red wire outline showing the current state, the current resolved building. This is from Knightsbridge at the corner of Serpentine Walk. And again, existing and proposed for the view from the other end of Knightsbridge. So this is taken from number 32. This is a view taken from Belgrave Square. You can see on the left the existing and on the right the proposed. And again, a view of the base of the building, which I think is where more of a kind of dramatic change to the immediate streetscape is to take place, and the inclusion of those additional street trees and greening at podium level. And again, a view of the base of the building. On the left, you can see the existing, and on the right, the proposed. And then this is the view from Lowndes Square, where you can see the kind of deeper part of the podium with the substantial element of greening to the top of it, including green roofs and tree planting and additional planting. Then we move to issues and balancing. So as I mentioned, the floor plates of the building don't lend themselves particularly well to smaller units being located within them to achieve the best in terms of access to daylight, sunlight, and amenity issues. So there is an under-optimization of the site and the creation of some super prime residential. The increase in height and bulk of the building and impact to views and nearby heritage assets has been raised. However, this has been balanced against the benefits of the scheme and is considered to be acceptable in this circumstance. There are also design concerns raised from the Westminster objection. These have been covered off in the addendum report that members would have had sight of today. The benefits of the scheme relate to the 8 market residential dwellings that are to be provided, and the improvements to the public realm and streetscape at ground floor, the increased greening of the site, an affordable housing payment in lieu of £16.5 million, and improvements to the hotel offer to create a sustainable hotel offer in the area. That concludes my presentation, but I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very good. Thank you very much indeed. Now, colleagues, there are no speakers, in fact, this evening, so we move straight to questions from us to officers. Sam, would you like to go first?
Good evening, thank you. Very good presentation, thank you. And I think the officer report balances the issues well. I just have I was just reviewing the sort of the comments on the design questions, and I'm thinking that the description and the images are very helpful, particularly at the improvements to the streetscape, and also on the use of the hotel from the podium and street level changes. I saw there were concerns about the CTMP, because that obviously is quite a big impact on people, although no, I don't think that I saw any comments of people writing in about the CTMP. So my question was, and I'm not necessarily suggesting that it comes back anywhere near here, but it looked like there was a concern over the use of William Street. I think may have been by TfL, which is, I think, primarily used by cyclists. But I wondered whether, in overall carbon terms, it would be useful for the various parties, which would be, I guess, Westminster Council and ourselves and TfL, to consider the overall impact of taking the most direct route for any vehicles in and out of the site, rather than sending them round a large residential square, if that would have been the alternative. But as I say, I don't want to redesign a CTMP on tonight. It was just really a sort of potentially helpful comment that there might be a good compromise available. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Yes, so condition 19 of the report requires no development to commence until a construction traffic management plan has been submitted for final kind of consideration and approval. I think we can work with the applicants as part of that and identify members' thoughts on how that could be best and appropriately managed. Like you said, there are quite a few consultation parties involved in this, TfL and Westminster, so it will be an exercise for all of those interested parties to kind of take together. So I think it's definitely something we can ask to be explored as part of that condition.
Very good. Any other questions? Lloyd.
Thank you, Chairman. I've got a couple of questions, one on the CTMP and one on the greening and landscaping. Just to follow on from Councillor Macover's question, I just wanted to ask a question about the impact of the traffic on Seville Street. Can you just kind of clarify that part?
Yes, so I'm not sure that the individual streets are named in the officer's report, but the draft CTMP has taken into account all of the streets surrounding the development and to be rooted in that CTMP. And as I said, I think condition 19, and especially kind of the detailed parts of that, will ascertain kind of those impacts in detail once we have further information from the applicant on those. So I believe that that will be cleared up as part of that condition, and given that the draft CTMP hasn't been objected to in principle by relevant parties, I think there wouldn't be kind of an in principle impact to the street as part of the construction works that can't be managed through that condition. Okay,
I recognise that, and the report covers most of that, and it's noted about the objection to the support, and I'd note the addendum back with Westminster Council's submission as well. My other question about the landscaping, now I realise there's a positive impact here. My understanding is that the streetscape trees are included in this scheme and are part of this scheme, and that the surveys have been done that the streets can take those trees. Am I correct?
I believe that the feasibility of implementing those trees has been assessed as part of the application and put forward. There is detailed landscaping plans, and there would likely be a Section 278 agreement for any works to the public highway as part of the development, which would also secure investigative works and the implementation of those street trees.
Thank you.
Very good. Any questions? Marwan, do you have a question?
Okay, thank you, Chair. Thanks for this extensive presentation. Regarding the issues, I have two questions regarding the issues in balancing. On the design concern, because I've read there is any update from Westminster, what are their concern, will be appreciated. And the second thing is I've been searching in the document regarding this elevation, the extra elevation, and here they on section regarding the fire safety, that there is no, is there any update on that regarding the fire safety issue?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yep. So I'll take your first question first about Westminster's response. So we received this, and it's part of your addendum pack on the 24th of March. And they've objected to the kind of height and detailed design of the upward extension of the building, and they're saying that would cause harm to the setting of nearby listed buildings and conservation areas that are within Westminster's jurisdiction, and they have identified that the public benefits do not appear to outweigh these harms. However, we've concluded that the public benefits would outweigh the harms. It's not that we've not identified that there isn't harm, but we have found that the balancing exercise means that the public benefits are sufficient to outweigh those harms. And in regard to fire safety, so the Health and Safety Executive have been consulted on the application, and they were due to return their comments to us this week, but we so far haven't been in receipt of them. However, they should be resolved prior to the issuing of decision, and if they do object, then we will have to take that into consideration in how we progress forward with the application. But their initial comments were no in principle objections, so we don't think that's a likely outcome at this stage.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Any other questions? No. Okay, well in that case, thank you very much. So we need to make a decision about this. I think my own feelings are that first of all, it's slightly unusual to think of a project having a regeneration element when its address is 101 Knightsbridge. But I think, I can well see that the improvements to the ground floor and first floor that are proposed are actually significant for people who live in the area. In terms of the design and the height, I'm inclined, I think we need to note Westminster's objection and also the objection from conservation areas, which, again, generally speaking, are in fact over the border friends in the city of Westminster. But I'm inclined on balance to think that, in fact, having a slightly taller building probably, I'm not even sure it is a harm. In some ways, the building still looks like a fine building. I mean, clearly, it's a building of a time. When it was originally built, I'm sure it was viewed as somewhere of an example of modernity and a luxury hotel. But that's becoming quite a long time ago. So I think that would be where personally I feel. In terms of affordable housing, this is an important matter, but I think we've seen the way the floor plates of the hotel, obviously it's rather unusual sort of tower structure, and I think I think frankly trying to squeeze 39 or 49 square foot affordable housing units which actually would not have any windows within a tower which is in Knightsbridge, doesn't strike me as being, frankly, a very sensible kind of option in terms of affordable housing. So I think a payment in lieu I think is entirely appropriate. And finally, you know, there's no doubt about it. I think there is a benefit of having a refurbished hotel, which you know is obviously going to benefit will benefit visitors and will probably enhance the local area. So overall, I think the recommendation is a good one. Is there anybody who would like to express a contrary view or feel that there are particular conditions that we should change or matters that we should consider? No. Okay. Well, in that case, I think we can probably put the recommendation, which is in paragraph 1.7 of the report, we can probably put that to the vote. Now, the legal agreement, we've got the 2nd of October down as the date for the completion of that agreement. Is that something that we view as being reasonable? Are we happy with that?
Yes, I think that's a reasonable date for that.
Very good. Well, in that, Amanda, sorry, I beg your pardon.
Just a very minor point of clarification. When you vote, please just note that the decision is being made having taken into consideration the report and the addendum report. Thank you, Councillor.
Certainly, I think that's a good point, because the addendum includes the letter from the City of Westminster, where they do raise an objection, which, okay, even if we don't agree with it, it's important that that's been tabled and we have considered it and noted it. So with all of that in mind, the recommendation is to grant, grant permission as set out in the report with the conditions attached, and also to note the date for the completion of the legal agreement. Can I see those in favour of that, please? Thank you. So that is agreed. Okay, thank you very much indeed. So that actually concludes our business for the evening. So thank you very much indeed, everyone. Thank you.